and they're off.
Further Faster, the best independently owned outdoor store in the known universe. Now, it is getting warm. It's going to get hot in here and out there indeed. So whether you are heading out on climbing, paddling, tramping, or running adventures, look no further than Further Faster for all your gear and expertise needs over the spring and the summer. Head over to 57A Buchan Street, Sydenham, Otutahi Christchurch, or hit them up at furtherfaster.co.nz.
It goes something like further, faster, there in Christchurch. Rocky is hairy and so is Badger. Jules is nice and Jacob is delicious. Go to further, faster now.
Oh, further, faster, there in Christchurch. Rocky is hairy and so is Badger. Jules is nice and Jacob is delicious. Go to further, faster now.
Dirt Church Radio.
Welcome to episode 349 of Dirt Church Radio. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because we have good old AWS, Amazon Web Services, to thank for the fact that our entire podcast recording on Monday night got completely deleted by a global crash of Amazon's servers. We talked about everything, and it was a great chat with some heated discussion. I got very passionate about how I feel about the entire Camille incident, and you're never going to hear it because it got deleted. Sorry, maybe it's for the best. So let me just sort of do the cliff notes, the short version of everything. On today's podcast, I had the pleasure of interviewing Helene Barron. I'm not going to tell you too much about her story because, hey, you're here to listen to the podcast and you're going to hear all about it. Needless to say, she's an amazing person who's done some amazing things. Covering the results really quickly, the Muriwai Half happened. It was its inaugural event. Apparently, it was a humongous success. It was a sold out on your first event. Matt ran the 2:30 pacer. I gave him grief about running 2:33, and he told me that the course ran long, so that I should be quiet. And maybe he's right, and I'll let him off just this one time. Crater Rim happened over the weekend. It was incredible. As always, go to Brad's trailrunning.nz newsletter for all the results. But up front, ladies and dudes, there was some great battles, and highly recommend you read through how that played out. Biggs is currently underway, and because I'm now recording this on Tuesday locally, so it can't be deleted by Amazon, it appears that we have at least half the field still on the 66th hour yard, if you like. So that is going to go for a long time. Enjoy. Perhaps by the time you're listening to this, we'll be at over 100. But I'm enjoying it, and sad to see the Kiwis out. Obviously, Sam Harvey ran 100 miles. He's clearly still nursing those Achilles, but I think it's still pretty impressive to turn up and do that. Simon McLean was our last great Kiwi hope. He ran 38 hours, 38 laps, and I think that's an amazing effort. And, of course, he was full of apologies for not going further, but hats off, man. You made it to this, and you should be proud of yourself. LB 24 Hours ran over the weekend. That's the World 24-Hour Champs. That's held in a little town northeast of Toulouse in France. The women's world record was broken in LB. It was broken by Sarah Webster of Great Britain. She smashed it, actually, 278 kilometres, roughly 8 kilometres further than the previous record. Perhaps more impressively, the top 3 females all beat it. And fellow however you say, an Australian called Holly Ranson came second, 274 kilometres. Hats off. In fact, the Aussie ladies team got second overall, which is amazing. So we like the Aussie team. I think the big rivalries that you see around the world don't really exist between the Kiwis and the Aussies. I think in 24 hours we're all one big happy family. So a massive congratulations over the ditch there. Kiwis, of course. Sam Beale, 221 kilometres. Thanks for not beating my PB by 1 kilometre. Cheer, bro. Kel Robertson smashed a PB as well, 213. The last few hours, extremely hard earned. She was on track for more than that, and I know she wanted more than that, but still, you got to be pretty happy with that. Blackall 100, one of my favourite races, happened in Australia over the weekend, Western States qualifiers, super cool. Matt wants to know how much Russian I speak. Я не знаю по-русски язык. Я не знаю ничего. Меня зовут Andrei. Spasiba and до свидания. There you go. That was my high school Russian. Yes, I learnt Russian in high school. The poll that we ran last week Which is more likely to get you sick at a race? A shoey, 14%, or your grubby fingers, 86%, all day. I'm with that one. Have you ever done a shoey? I feel like the question should have probably been, would you ever do a shoey? So the 17% that said they've done one versus 83%, maybe that doesn't quite work out. Would you give Matt kudos on Strava if he swam the Cook straight, or just leave a comment? 83% of you said that you would give him kudos, which is disappointing because all it needed was a golf clap in the comments. Yeah. Tony Sharp sent in an amazing greatest run ever that Matt read out the whole thing for, did a wonderful job, and that has now gone into the ether. So we are going to do it again next time round. So stay tuned because it's an excellent story, Tony. You've outdone yourself, mate. And that is about it. That's the fast version. We actually talked for over an hour. So, I really have made it more concise. But that means that you get to hear Helene Barron's interview much faster. So enjoy, and we will talk to you next week. It's a case of third time lucky with us. The first time your internet is the worst internet I've ever seen, and we need to talk to your bosses about your work internet situation. If they're listening, we can chat. The second time I went for a run instead of recording you because I'm an idiot.
But I mean, fair, it was Sunday morning. We should all be running.
Look, it was a beautiful morning, and it was honestly, it was about 6:15 in the morning, and I'm running up this hill in Riverhead, having a lovely time. La 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 la, and then I think, gee, we'll be able to talk about that on the podcast. I had a thought, I'll be able to talk about that on the podcast tomorrow, and that's when everything just goes. No, I'm supposed to be recording Helene at 8 a.m.
And 4 hours away.
And I didn't even have reception, so I had to double remember to contact you. So I had to wait until I got to the top of a hill, and then had one bar reception. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm never going to make it. I'm thinking, I hope she hasn't set her alarm real early for this.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
did. I mean, it was very rude, but that's fine. I'll forgive you now.
So now it's Sunday night,
Here we are.
And your internet's great, and I've remembered to turn up. So, Helene Barron, welcome to Dirt Church Radio.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here third time round.
Let's start with your big weekend, because you've literally just driven back from Christchurch right now. Is that correct?
Yeah. Got home. I got home actually in time to prep tea, and then I went to yoga. But I've been in Christchurch for a Sports Medicine New Zealand conference, which I was presenting at on Friday. It was great.
What are you presenting, may I ask?
Well, it was the theme of the conference was innovation in sports medicine, and I was talking about that from our sort of snow sports perspective and just the unique kind of nature of our crew being spread all across the globe. And so it was about how we connect each other and the team through using technology and trying to keep things from being noise. Adding to performance and adding value rather than all of these distractions, because there's so much stuff that we could share, but we don't have to. We can be really distracting.
I mean, if it's anything like trail running, you're going to get 20 different opinions when you ask a question, right?
No, 100%. Yeah.
And I can imagine in any snow sports, it's the same sort of thing. Probably even more so, because there is so much technology that must go into. Are we talking skiing, snowboarding, everything?
Yes.
Yes.
So I work across the Park and Pipe program. So that's our big air and slope style. That's the skiers and snowboarders, and also our Paralympic program. So sit ski and the standing adaptive skiers. So a bit of everything, and the coaching and the training space, and how we share information with each other in different time zones, all of those things. Yeah.
Do people ask? Do you get the same questions like we do with what type of seam seal jacket shall I wear while I'm snowboarding? Does that come up? Poles or no poles?
Poles or no poles? Poles or always poles. There's always a lot of chat about kit, but that's okay. It makes for good conversation.
Well, I think I'm just jaded these days. I've just been through the ringer with so many different types of things to try and things to do, and sometimes at the end of the day, it's the more simple I can keep my gear and my kit, the better things are.
Oh, 100%. And there's so many options. You go to buy something new and think, well, I don't even know where to start. But I finally, actually, after 15 years, bought new skis about a month ago. So the rest of my crew are pretty happy that I'm finally back up with the play. But I'm often ripping around. We're trying to get to people on snow, or you're stomping across. Just things get damaged, so there's no point having the new stuff, and they get beaten up a little bit in transit. And I don't need to be skiing fast. It's not me that's skiing fast. I just have to get to people on the mountain and be at the top for racing and training, etc.
Gotcha. So, you really have to be up there. So this is part of the physiotherapy team, or am I oversimplifying it?
Yep. No, I'm one of the two physiotherapists or full-time physios with snow sports. So,
And I got quite jealous earlier this year when you went somewhere awesome. Actually, you get to go to a lot of awesome places.
You mean when I was in the Dolomites? Is that what you meant?
I don't even know if that was it. I think that was one of many, to be honest.
It's been quite
Unfollow, unlike, no kudos. How dare you?
Thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down the whole way. I'm horribly jealous. So it was Dolomites. Was there an American trip in there as well? I feel like you were in the States.
Yes, I was. So that was for spring camp with our half-pipe team, and we were in Oregon. And it was, summer, essentially there, spring into summer. But the half-pipe is high, so we go and
so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they ski and snowboard, and I hike up and run down, and then we're back down at, back in the town, and it's sunny and you're in t-shirt and shorts. Great.
So this is the problem. This is a problem with you doing a sport that also involves mountains and lovely views and that sort of carry on, is even though you're there for a skiing thing, trail runners also look at it with envy and jealousy. So well played. Well done.
Yes. I mean, it does get tricky. That's probably the only sunny one that we tend to go on, and then everywhere else we're basically just chasing snow. So I like to think that I'm going to get to go for lots of trail runs, but actually I tend to do an awful lot of snow hiking.
Well, I mean, look at some of the top trail runners, right? Top trail runners, a lot of them are the Europeans, the ones that have accessible snow options.
Yeah.
A lot of them do skiing or skimo in their winter season, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good fitness. It's good strength. I don't tend to, because then I'd have to carry extra kit with me when I travel. So, but I tend to do the hiking, and then I'll ski when if we're spending more time on the mountain. But
right. You did not start off as a snow skiing person in your athletic life, did you? What was first for you?
Well, probably very first was, like athletics and athletics ribbon days with the fam, and then and hockey. Hockey was my sport of choice, really, through high school and
field hockey. I assume we're talking about. Right.
I mean, don't get me on skates; it'd be terrible. It's like, look out, everybody! The baby giraffe. Just anyway.
It's incredible. 2 disciplines in one. It's amazing. But yes, field hockey, cool.
Yeah, field hockey. So I played that for a long time. And I loved it. And, through till maybe 23, 24. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then,
and in a weird 2 degrees of separation, your niece and my daughter played on the same field hockey team this year. Isn't that weird?
It's just so cool. That's like, welcome to New Zealand.
Welcome to New Zealand. The amount of times it happens is crazy.
It's so good.
So playing until 24, that must have got pretty high level, pretty competitive.
I played. I had 50 caps for Canterbury, and I played New Zealand 18s and under 23s. It was called the Academy then. It's sort of junior Black Six, and then it's just the expanded Black Six crew now. And then I kind of cooked myself, trying to do too many things, and hockey was the thing really that gave at that point. So it essentially became a choice between what I was doing physio-wise and continuing on with hockey, and I had burnt out a little bit, to be fair, and I could put hockey and the need to be the team where I had felt like other people depended on me. I could stop that, and I could run it and get my activity just on my terms. But I had just cooked myself. I was working full time. I'd played Canterbury. I was playing the Kiwi under 23s. I decided that studying at sort of 0.75 hours to get my postgrad diploma in sports medicine was a good plan. And then I thought I would train for my first marathon.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was that.
Trade one addiction for another is it's a common theme, isn't it?
So I was pretty cooked, and then my I was living in Christchurch at the time, and my nana, I was the only other family there, and she passed away, and it was sort of that emotional trigger that I just everything else came crumbling down, and I stepped back from hockey, which is just weird when it's such a massive part of your life.
With all the travel, plus I imagine training multiple days a week.
Yeah,
it just takes over, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, but I loved it. I just had no energy for stuff anymore, so that became I needed to step away from that and the pressure of that and the pressure that I was starting to put on myself with regards to hockey. But I mean, it's like those. So that Canterbury crew, I had brunch with them this morning. It's so cool. Like they're like my sisters, so even right through all of that, just so supportive of each other. And I think that's probably one of the beautiful things about sport, isn't it? Just
and they've forgiven you for ditching them.
Yeah, well, I came back like 2 years later as their physio, so it was fine.
Oh, no kidding.
Stepped into a different role.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I just needed it not to be the direct pressure on me, I guess. Yeah.
Do any of them still play socially?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say social is very good for they play. The people who play because they
serious. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's very hard. I went back to playing a couple of years ago, and then it just became a little bit tricky with the travel with work because it's snow sports and more always sort of travelling and but it's very hard to play something you've played to quite a high level. Without the same level of training or fitness or, like 20-year-old flexibility and speed.
It is a lot of running.
Like everything hurts. There's a few who still play.
There's nothing like a field hockey ball on your ankle, is there? There's nothing quite like that feeling.
Nothing quite like that. It's got a wee bit of a burn.
Oh, yeah. May I ask how your first marathon went and where was it?
It was Christchurch. It was Christchurch. We did like the loop out past the hockey turf and the rowing club and came back in town and you did a loop out to the airport. And I remember I was feeling relatively just sort of pleased with myself that I hadn't fallen apart at about halfway heading out towards the airport and the guys are coming back the other way towards me. Like, oh, you're quite fast. But anyway, I had hoped to do it kind of in under 4 hours and I did it in 3:28. So yeah, I was like, well, that's the sort of one and only road marathon I've ever done. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Then it was like, let's just head for the trails, thanks.
It took me 6 marathons to run faster than that. So thanks very much for kicking my butt on that one.
I still remember it was like, that whole negative split thing. And I was realised that was going to be okay. And I'd run along by myself for quite some time and there was some sort of group of guys that I was kind of running with and then way off in the distance, I was like, I think that might be a chick. Maybe I could catch her. And accelerate and oh no, the wheels are going to completely fall off, slow back down, Helene, and make my merry way to the finish.
I thought you were going to say
in the competition.
I thought you were going to say, oh no, that's not a chick.
No, it was just like, oh maybe. Oh no, that's no, it doesn't mean very dizzy. That was how I discovered that. Pacing's quite important.
Annoyingly so, yes.
Who knew? All of the evidence would suggest.
Well, I think it's a heck of a debut and final marathon. Well done.
Yeah, well and done.
Look, I've got some results here in front of me from what was. According to the Oracle, the statistics page, your first ultra was in 2018, Ring of Fire 50K. Does that sound right to you? Ring of Fire,
yes, that's right. Yep.
What time gap was between the marathon and your first ultra?
Oh, like a decade.
Oh my goodness.
I don't. So that was when I was still living in.
So you just hung your shoes up. You just said, "Yep, 3:28, boom."
That's it. I'm done. No, then I had babies, and then I threw myself back into work, and I was travelling. So I worked with Cycling New Zealand for high performance sport, with cycling for nearly 4 years. And when we would travel, and if they went off on their big long road rides, I had quite a bit of time on my hands during periods of the day, and so I filled that with running and getting my masters. That was how I got back into running.
Brilliant.
More so. And then when I left cycling, it had been quite a full-on time, and I headed for the trails, and that's probably where I started doing more running. So I was back in Hamilton at that point, and I was running through Mangatotri on Sanctuary Mountain, and I would just disappear off into the bush, over and back, and then head for home.
And what about the Bog Fest of Parongia?
The Bog Fest of Parongia. See, I've not done it. No.
Oh, what?
I know.
It's right there.
I know.
Te Aroha?
No, see, this is the thing, because my running started, so I headed for Mangatotri and running along the river in the Waikato, and then I did Ring of Fire, and then we moved south. So most of those bigger runs have been here, yeah.
Well, okay, enough bragging. You're in Wanaka, yes, okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Would you like me to tell you which trails I can see out my window right now?
Well, can I just say, it's 8:30 p.m. and it is still light outside. And
I've got another hour.
Apparently you've got another hour. In Auckland, it is pitch black outside.
Well, I don't think I need to say any more about
No,
that.
you do not. No, I don't even know why I'm giving you more ammunition.
Just ammunition, Andrew. What are you doing?
So another reason you discussed me is because you ran the Ring of Fire. You finished 4th overall. You won the race.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, to be fair. I really had no idea how that was going to go. So a friend of mine was doing it, and she'd signed up, and she managed to convince me to do it. And I had no idea. So I headed off where, you start with the 50 and you come down the access road from Turoa. And that was fun because I like a good downhill bomb. That's probably my favourite way to run.
It's like the ultimate downhill bomb going down that road.
Oh, you just go.
Epic,
and I mean, really, in hindsight, you think you've still got 48 Ks when you get off this particular bit of road.
And your quads are now destroyed.
And your quads are blown already. Yeah. But I like to thank my hockey days for giving me giving me some thunder thighs. So it was so good. And I ran that just yabbering away to people who were so pumped about being on the mountain, the same, as me, and being out on this incredible trail. And I just existed in this joy most of that day. It was so cool. I was well and truly hooked on trail running events after that, because the trails are cool and you get to go to places you don't usually see, and the people are just awesome. So it's like, right, well, sign me up anywhere, somewhere. I'll join them all.
Did this sort of new trail running bug have any effect on where you ended up with Wanaka? Or is that just a total coincidence?
I think it probably contributed. I mean, when we were down, when we lived in Christchurch, we used to come down to Queenstown, Central Otago. Corey and I, my husband, and I would come down and we'd holiday here, and just loved it around this part of the world. And we ski and snowboard, and the boys like to ride bikes. And when I finished with cycling, physio, I can kind of travel with my work. I can be in different places, so I didn't have to be anywhere in particular. And my husband was doing his work sort of around the country, and we're like, well, let's just, if you're traveling anyway, why don't we be where we love being? So we came down here so that we could enjoy the outdoors, and the boys could have this it's just a bit more chilled life. The growing up down here, go to the skate park and everyone's looking out for each other's kids, and you can walk anywhere from town. I mean, don't think anything that you actually desperately need to get to is probably more than 5K away, unless you're going to the mountains. So it's just it's just a really chill place to be. I love it here. So
I love your little
bingo.
food trucks that you have. You've got that. You've got that little sort
yes.
of area with the
Yep.
little water thing features and that. Super cool. I remember it was a night before a Northburn race, and I was staying in Wanaka with Ian, and I just remember seeing it, thinking, I want one of these where I live. Can I have one of these? I'd be very poor, but
exactly.
it would be cool.
But you'd feel good. It is cool, that central, that little zone, and you can all go in there and just choose whatever you want, but just hang out. It's a cool place. Summer and winter, that's probably the thing I love about down here, is that there are really clear seasons. So you can do, summer it's 30 plus degrees, and winter it snows. So you just get to have a really fun time. Stuff all year round.
Yeah, right. That's enough talking about Wanaka. I'm so bored.
I've got to stop. Stop.
Oh my gosh.
This influx.
Look, if I quickly have a little peek at some of your other results. The worst you've ever finished is 11th, but to be honest, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 5th, 2nd, 8th, 7th, 5th, 1st, 4th. I mean, you are incredibly consistent. And while you sort of say, oh, I just kind of finished, and oh, look, I beat everybody. Like there's got to be something going on here to have such consistency in your results.
I just, it was a really good run until it wasn't, but the results there, and I don't know. I like to run. I like to be out on the trails. I like to push myself. It's not necessarily for anything time wise or anything like that. I just like to be moving and to be moving in nature. I'm not really sure. I guess probably I've had a lifetime of being fit and active.
Yeah,
and,
true.
And so it's probably crossed into the trails a little bit more. And I have a wee tendency to just push quite hard against myself. Like it's not anyone else. I just like to push. It's so it worked out.
Do you think that your high performance training you had as a younger athlete has helped that ultra marathon mindset? Because if you look at these 100K races, some of them you've done here, they're ultra easy. That's middle of summer, super hot. They're hard, right? They're really, really hard races. And fitness is only a part of the puzzle, right? We all know that the mental part of an ultramarathon is so important. Yeah. And it's not something that, I don't think it's something that just is there all the time. It's actually something you have to train and work on.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where I'm going with the question of, was there a part of your earlier training that allowed you to have that mental toughness when you get 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hours into a run and still be able to hold it together, shall we say?
I do think so. And I think the combination of that, having sort of trained at a level where I was getting given a lot of information about, training specifics and recovery and all of those things. So I had experience of that, and then my study is essentially around that. So my knowledge of the human body probably helped in that sense too. I've also been, I don't know if stubborn is probably and determined and quite driven. It's just always been part of it's just my personality. So there is part of that, and just that, oh no, you've committed to something, so you just keep going. That's not, it's just that was just the way I was brought up. You sign up for a sports team for the year, you are in it for the year, and you're going to every training, and that's just what you do. So when I sign up to a race, then that's probably the same factor, and same with training. It's like, oh well, this was what I set out to do today. And the wheels might have fallen off, but I'll readjust, but we're still going to finish whatever training session that needed to be. There's probably a whole raft of things I think that come into that.
Were you ever coached?
Coached? No.
Okay.
No. So I didn't with the running, because I'd always had coaches with hockey and always been part of a team, and it was very structured. I really wanted the running to be just for me. And in the beginning, it was just go out and enjoy it and see how it flows. And then I didn't want it to be so structured that just that freedom and the joy went out of it for me. So I would just run what I felt like most of the time. And then if I signed up to an event, which I generally only did probably like 4 to 6 weeks out, it'd be like, okay, you've got this specific run in, and now we structure it for that event, and I would write that program myself. So
just based on experience in general, like life, nutrition, athletic experience.
Yeah. And I'm strength and conditioning coaching trained as well, and I've done my postgrad diploma in sports medicine, which was about exercise prescription and recovery and travel as well. And so part of that, like my job has contributed to that too. So I could target my trainings, and also got my trainings based around my life. Like I never wanted running to be this, it was part of things and it would add to things versus being that's my single goal. I mean, when I started running Ring of Fire, my boys, 2018, so they were 9 and 10, so I that was my priority. So I didn't want to be like all of my time is going to be taken with that. I loved my work, I loved my family, and I loved running, and I needed to make that work. So it was never going to be like totally all in from a training plan point of view with running. It was like, okay, well, now I've got a goal, I'll structure something towards that. And even this is the same with when I did the Tarawera miler, and I never run more than, what's ultra easy, 107. So I'd never run more than that before. Yep. And I knew I didn't have the time to get even remotely close to big long runs in that period before. But I knew that if I knew I needed to know how to run tired, and running through the night, and so I would do back-to-back days, or I would do a super early run one day, and then I'd stay up till midnight, and I'd set my alarm for 3 a.m. and I'd get up and do another 30K the next morning and still be home to have breakfast with the boys. Like I might have been a little bit woo-woo by the afternoon, but it was it still needed to work with my family. So it's just trying to kind of make it work, I guess.
I think that's a wonderful viewpoint you've got, and perhaps you've had the advantage of having that structured training for your hockey to have that viewpoint, to be the perspective, to be able to sort of say, okay, I don't want that in my running. I can already see that I need the balance. I need it to be the icing on the cake, not the cake. Yeah. And you were able to take what you'd have to say is a mature approach.
Sometimes I can be sensible.
Yeah, sensible. That's a better word. A sensible approach. Because of course, so many people who get into trail running go, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like it's just look at the sun's shining and I'm running, and I said I'd only do this today, but I'm having such a great time. I'm going to go way harder or further or whatever. And then, oops, I wasn't home in time. And it can very easily take over your life. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty addictive, isn't it? Really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it feels good. And the trails are just this beautiful place. So it's easily done. Yeah. To just push and keep going. But it can definitely come at the detriment of other things if you let it.
Yeah. And I really love what you're saying about the trying to run tired, and that's actually a nice little tip for people. Is I totally agree. Like when I'm training for the really long ultras, one of the tricks I would use is get up at 5, run for 10K, have a normal day, just do all the normal things, and then go out at 8, 9 at night, same day, and run until 3 in the morning.
Yeah. And
so therefore you haven't affected, like you say, family life or work, or, you've managed to keep everything roughly on the plate.
Roughly together.
Yeah. But you've actually ended up getting two decent sessions in, and that really does train the body. And I can relate to, finishing at 3 or 4 in the morning and then sleeping for an hour or two, and then standing as umpire for my daughter's cricket, trying to judge an LBW while you're going,
third umpire. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember that. So the one big one, probably the run tired back to back that I did, it was about a month before Tarawera. Maybe it was actually 3 weeks. It might have been the last big one.
This is
and
2023, yeah?
Yeah, just before the wheels fell off. Yeah, 2023.
We're going to talk about the wheels falling off.
The wheels and where they rolled.
We'll unpack that one.
I got up and I had, it was like 3 a.m. and my alarm had gone and I was out the door feeling terrible, and I ran about 10 Ks and I headed off around the Millennium Track around the lake, and in that first 10 Ks I tripped over rocks about 3 times, I stumbled, and then I pretty much face planted, and oh my God, I was just a big ball of rage. And I was swearing at nobody, and then it's like, okay, it's like, pull yourself together. So it's a little moment, and I sat on the rock, and it's like, this is exactly what you wanted out of this run. Like, this is exactly what you wanted. You wanted to get to that point where you were cooked, and you want to stop, and you can't. So put your big girl pants on and take a breath and have a sip of drink and continue. And I did. So I walked for about 5 minutes, and I thought, right, off you go, and headed on, and I finished my 40K run and then, made breakfast for the fam when I got home. But it's like that moment where you're like, oh my God, and realising that was the point. So when you hit the wall and you find the pain cave in the wee small hours of the morning in a 100K or a 100-mile run, you're like, been here. It's all right.
Yes.
It's all right. You know how to get out the other side of this one.
That is so good. I mean, it is the underrated part of it all is because I think I'm hearing it more and more lately. People are like, the weather's a bit rubbish, I won't head out, or I haven't got time, or I'm too tired in the evening or whatever. And you just sort of think, okay, sometimes that is, sometimes, yes, you need rest and you balance. Yes, these are all important things, but sometimes
just gotta
put your big pants on and get out there, because you never know what that weather's...
obviously going to be pristine weather on the day of your event.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, heat is often an issue, isn't it? Like lately, I feel, we stack so many races in summer, and 3 p.m, you're running in full sun. Tarawera is one of the worst.
Yeah, Tarawera was that one, and Ultra Easy was the other, coming across the top of the range in the middle of the afternoon, and 30 plus degree heat, and poof. And actually, my last one, that old ghost. That's the only race actually that I had the wee hallucinations, and I'd been and I was just so hot.
Oh, like heat hallucinations.
Yeah, like I thought I'd been running by myself for ages, and it's getting a little bit lonely anyway. But then I thought I heard someone behind me, and I was like, oh, okay. It was kind of semi waiting for these people to rip on past, and then I was like, oh, no, I'm feeling good. I'll just head off, pick up the pace a little bit down the hill, and down I went, and I finished. It would have been 20 minutes before the next person came in, but there were people were most definitely having a conversation right behind me, but no, and that's the only time I've ever actually had that. And that night it was like full blown sweats, like you changed the sheets because I totally messed up my metabolism, and I got a wee white line across all of my fingernails. Like it was basically I just had cooked my system that day. And
wow,
that's the only time. It's the only time I've ever done it. I just was so hot. We'd get to a waterfall and I'd stick my head under that and then keep going. We'll find a creek and be standing in it, splashing myself in water. That was
this is Old Ghost Road.
Eh? Yeah, it was. I'm trying to remember which year that was.
Not my year.
No, I did it 3 times.
Oh yeah.
And
2021, 2020, and 2019, 3 in a row. Yeah. Okay.
Bang, bang, bang. I wanted to keep
3rd, 7th, 5th.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that run.
Oh, hang on. I need to check something here.
Oh,
8:53. Is that your PB? Yes.
Yeah, my first year. And I kept thinking that I might try and go back and do it again and push, but then I kept adding. The next year I'd done 3 races in the lead, and then I'd hurt my back, so that was the longest I'd run in about a year doing Old Ghost that next year.
Oh, but goodness. 8:52.
Yes. Oh, well done, Andrew.
Go on you. Yes. I was like, I'm sure that's close, but I can't remember.
Yeah. But I'm better.
I'll beat you. Yay. By 46 seconds, you loser. Yeah.
Classic. A little sprint finish downhill.
I shouldn't say this out loud because someone's now going to go and smash it, but I still have the crown for the last 4 kilometre downhill.
Do you? That is so brutal, that downhill, because it's a nice gradient to really bomb, but when you're tired, it's got all those little rocks, and people just were falling. I
stacked hard in the race. I stacked so hard. 5K to go. Came around a corner and then you're looking around and you're swearing and same sort of thing, right? You're swearing at nothing. You look at the rock and it's a tiny little thing. You're like,
little thing. It's like, where did you come from? Just jumped up and smacked it. Down you go.
Look, so you crushed that Tarawera 100-mile run, 20 hours, 42 minutes, 5th female, once again, top 5, definitely a theme. And then the wheels fell off, as you keep using that expression. Can you tell us what happened?
What happened? Wow.
Where do you start?
Yeah. Where do I even start? I'll start with that day because that was just the coolest 24 hours. It just felt good. My family were there, like they were my support crew, and I just had such a fun day. And I headed off the next week, so I finished that run. That was the year that there was a terrible storm and all the planes were getting cancelled and people were stuck. Like it was the big storm, like all of the flooding. Like it was a gnarly time.
Oh yeah. It was, of course, yes. It was just after the like Auckland floods and everything, eh?
Yeah, and down through around Taupo and Napier, like the roads through.
Yes.
Like it was just brutal. So it took a while to get home. And then, so I got stuck in Hamilton for a day because I couldn't get back to my flight. Things were cancelled. So anyway, then I headed home. I packed up my gear and I headed for Europe with the snow sports team. So I was a physio. We were heading to the World Champs, joining the team in Georgia, Bakurani, Georgia, for the Park and Bike World Champs. And I had been there a week, and I was like, my tongue's a little bit sore. And I'd had it before, just a sort of scratchy patch. And I would change what I was eating and it would heal. I had like sort of a sharp tooth that it would rub on. And then the next week, I was like, well, actually, not even the next week. It's like that's not getting any better, and it should.
And you're still in Georgia at this point.
Yep, still there at the World Champs. And I had a look and I thought, well, that doesn't actually look very good. And it was this little red patch, probably about the size of like half my little fingernail. And I know that things in the mouth should heal. So it's a really high turnover of cells and good blood flow, so it should heal. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just keep an eye on that. And then I left the Park and Pipe team and I went to join our para team in Italy. And I looked again and it was bigger. And I thought, shit, it's not so good. And I still had 2.5, 3 weeks of tour to go. So I was trying to figure out what I would do at that point. But I made an appointment with my GP for as soon as I got home. And then it just, it kept growing. And so when I headed home, saw my GP, and that was the beginning of my cancer journey.
So this came out of nowhere?
Yeah. I mean, there's not oral cancers. There's a few risk factors. So the HPV virus is one, and smoking and drinking, like heavy drinking. And I mean, there's a scarfie, and I like a nice social beverage with my mates, but I wouldn't say I'm a heavy drinker.
Sure.
And I don't smoke, and all of the swabs were HPV negative, and it's really don't know what caused this. There's a theory out there that repeated irritation, with that inflammation that I was getting from my sharp tooth on my tongue and it healing and getting wound and healing, and that things can eventually mutate, and that can cause cancer, so that chronic inflammation. But it's a little bit of a theory, but we don't know. We don't know why.
To this day, it's a mystery.
Yeah, so it could be some of those things. It could be, all of those things that could just be really shit luck. I just was one of those things. So again, it's just quietly dealing with it and taking the next step. And it's like, right, well, it's it's just like an ultra, isn't it? You're like, this is what's in front of me now. How do I deal with it? You
stayed in Italy, then you did the whole term with the team and everything before you came home. Yeah. So this is uncomfortable the whole time, right?
Yeah, it was a bit sore, a bit stingy. It was like a sore on my tongue, and it was probably by the time I got home, it was probably like the size of my little fingernail. Like it was bigger again. But then, it definitely just grew from there. So, I mean, if there's one thing that I would say to people is if there's sores in your mouth that aren't healing because they should, go and get them checked out. And I was very lucky because I could see it. So, when I had my treatment, and there was another man in Daffodil House who'd had a sore throat for like a year but hadn't thought that it was anything. And so his cancer was well advanced by the time he actually found out that it was cancer. So I was fortunate that I could see it, and I knew what should and shouldn't happen in the mouth. So I did something about it, and things moved quite quickly from there.
Yeah, you're suddenly on the roller coaster, aren't you?
Yeah, so my GP took a photo and swabs, and they sent those to the Dunedin team, so at the dental school and the ENT crew, and they rang and said, we'd like to see you tomorrow. That probably took maybe 10 days by the time they got that. And I saw them, and they took a biopsy, and then they were like, okay, well, this is a squamous cell carcinoma. You have cancer in your tongue, and we need to find out if it's anywhere else so we can plan your treatment. So I then had to have scans of my chest so the more common places that an oral cancer will go will be lymph, lungs, liver, and so like scan of that. And that time between knowing I had cancer and having the scans, but not knowing where it had gone. Well, that was just the most awful 10 days of my life.
10 days. That's a long time.
Yeah, and when he rang me, it rang with my results. So I was at work because I live 3 hours away from Dunedin. So when I had my biopsy, he's like, "Do you want to come back and hear the results, or are you comfortable with me calling you?" And I was like, "No, it's okay. Call me. I want to know." When he called, I was Googling glossectomies, which we'll get to what that is soon.
Okay, yep. There's a whole bunch of new words.
And so I knew what the biopsy result was going to be. It's like it's not really anything else that could be at this point. And he said to me then, he's like, "Look, we need to get the scan. This is going to be the hardest 2 weeks of your life because you're going to want answers and you don't have them yet."
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it was. And then we made plans. Yeah. So then, glossectomy.
So sorry, the results were that it was in your tongue, but was it anywhere else?
No. So until I had my surgery and then radiation, I didn't feel sick. I had a sore tongue. All my blood tests were clear. Like it was clearly nowhere apart from my tongue. So it's even now that's a freaky time because you're kind of second guessing things. But you have no way to know or measure. Like, oh, I've got a cough. Oh, maybe it's gone somewhere. Oh, that's all. Oh, maybe it's gone. You're just kind of second guessing. So it's just trying to, I guess, be positive about those things.
It's a little. You're sort of living in the life of a first year med student, isn't it? Because they learn about all these things, and suddenly, if they have a cough, they think that oh gosh, it could be this list of things.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm a researcher. I like to collect all of the information about all of the things, because then whatever actually eventually comes up, I can just put that plan in place, or I can put that plan in place. So
sure.
I had most definitely researched what was coming when I got the results. Yeah.
That is understandable, but fantastic. Obviously, that it was only your tongue. Let's celebrate the victories.
I mean, of all of the things, of all of the possible outcomes, I think it's been the best one. One little hiccup, which meant that I required radiation because they were hopeful that the surgery would be enough, but it was the tumour was bigger than they thought, and it had a nerve growing through it, which is like a fast train out of there to the rest of the body. So they said if we'd known that beforehand, you would have had surgery on your neck, we would have removed the lymph glands in your neck. So we'll zap them instead. And we definitely need to do radiation because of spread and the size. So, yeah.
So forgive my ignorance. I'm a musician, long way from being a doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, they just cut a bit out of your tongue. Like, do you have a hole on the side of your tongue? What are we talking about here?
I'm missing a reasonable portion of the right side of my tongue.
Okay.
And people who I don't know, like haven't met before, wouldn't necessarily think anything of my speech. But I hear every sentence I say is different to what I used to. So for a number of reasons, I don't have the tongue volume, so there's some sounds that I just can't make. There's things where you have to flatten your tongue, and that's like I just can't do them. And the combined sounds are tricky, like the like the sl and the they're just things where I have to make multiple sounds in one go. The rolling R's is really hard. Like I just
you're in the south of the South Island. It's quite important to be able to roll your R's.
And when you work in when one of the disciplines you work with on snow is slope style.
Oh no!
Like, I just can't. It's like going the twirly willies and the jumps. I can't say these words. And then I work in the mountains, and it's hard work when I'm cold. And also, I don't have saliva because they fried that side of my mouth. It's like it gets really, I don't have saliva glands any functioning saliva glands on the right side of my mouth anymore. So it's just hard. And I get the more if I'm tired, if I'm cold, those kind of things that speech becomes hard. So it's lots of fun on the radio on the mountain. When I'm tired and cold, so I'm like double buff on the face. And even when I started trying to get back into doing exercise and walking and running, I had to wear something over my mouth because it was just so dry, so dry.
So half the side works, but I mean that doesn't kind of come across, does it?
No, it doesn't really compensate. And I mean, I was probably just shy of they removed the tumour and had like a little patch put over the top of it essentially, but that it was small enough that they could use that without having to do a graft. So a lot of people who have glossectomies have a flap taken either from their forearm or their thigh and like a graft onto their tongue. So
did we actually say what a glossectomy was?
Oh, glossectomy is the removal of part. So I had a partial glossectomy. So the removal of part of my tongue.
Gotcha. Did you have to sort of retrain talking, or were you sort of all right?
Did it. Yeah, I did it a little bit myself because like I'm a physio and it's a muscle and so you just practice. And I would yabber away to myself and try and sing and just keep my mouth moving, my tongue moving, and trying to eat. Learning to move food around, especially because I can't feel that side of my tongue. And so learning to move food and coordinate my jaw and my tongue I just kept biting what was left the tip of my tongue. I just kept biting chunks off my tongue, which is pretty gross, isn't it? Here we go again. So it took some getting used to.
I wouldn't even think about those sorts of, challenges.
Actually trying to coordinate things again. So the radiation has made my face quite stiff. So I definitely notice as well that I tend to talk more out one side of my mouth. I'm like, this really lopsided chatter now, but that's okay. But it makes my speech a little bit better if I can lock up one side. The other way that I do it is like if you lock in a full grin and then you talk, but people think you're mental because you're just grinning like a
You're
crazy
doing like a Tim Shadbolt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I smile a lot. Let's be honest. I'm a bit of a laugher, but but doing that all the time in some conversations, you just don't require a smile. But that was how I could get my speech back. So it's definitely. I mean, I listened to things from a year ago, and it's better. And I mean, obviously, definitely better from the 6 months post. So retraining, and it improves. But I'm never going to have saliva or tongue on that side of my mouth anymore. So it's always going to be a wee bit different.
Obviously, this is a shock to the family. It's all very stressful times. I presume they've obviously been extremely supportive.
Yeah.
Have you felt the sort of community gather around and just obviously this small town, right? Yeah. It's a good place to be for these things. Yeah.
Incredible. And like the trail running community here were my family when I moved here. That's sort of how I sat and met people. And they've been amazing. The school family's amazing. Our neighbours amazing. My workplace amazing. Like it's just like wow, blown away just by the support here. And just support for me, but support for my family. So I had to have my radiation in Dunedin, and so that's 3.5 hours away. So I moved to Dunedin and lived in Daffodil House, which is we there called it the Cancer Camp. So that was our little crew who were there. We're the cancer campers, and we still keep in touch. The group that were there at the same time, and so I was there, but we decided that with the boys at school and Corey work and things, and my family were kind of used to me travelling for work, that I would go and I would have my treatment, and Corey would keep things happening with the boys at home, and I would come home at the weekends. And the support that was just wrapped around him and the boys was pretty amazing.
So where are you at right now? Are you in remission?
So they've removed it, but I'm being under observation, really. So I have 4 monthly checkups now. It started at 3. Well, it was 6 weeks, and then it was 3 months, and now it's 4 months. So I've got another one maybe in a month. And then we'll see if it gets pushed out. Again, usually they extend them out, and then at 5 years you get sort of removed from the system if you've been clear that time.
And that's
but they have talked to me.
That's
good.
It?
Yeah, bing, bing.
Yeah.
They have talked to me about whether they might keep me on because they're not really sure just how or why this has happened, and they want me to be able to get back in quickly. So once you get removed from that, then you have to go back via your GP and get another referral and go back in. So we might just keep you on for a little bit longer. So at the moment, if I found something on my tongue, I could call the hospital, and they do Monday afternoon clinics, and I could go and get that checked. So, and if I've got appointments that are a bit more stretched out, but so I can go sooner if I'm worried. Now that I'm in the system, you kind of stay in the system, and everything happens quite quick.
The unknown aspect of it is, I guess, the tricky part, isn't it? Just why did this happen? What can you do to prevent it happening again? I mean, if you don't know why it happened, you can't change anything.
So it's just one of those things where you it's just like, that's just the way it is, and I kind of have to learn how to live with that level of just angst and just get on with life.
Are you sure it wasn't like Castle Street double browns? Are you sure?
Yeah. KGBs. No.
Oh, KGBs. Oh, no.
Oh, what's that? There's other one like
Purple goannas.
Yeah, the tattoo, the bright. Oh my God,
just
terrible
memories. Thank you for those.
Just lolly water. I mean, really, no idea. So it's just we just try and get on with things. That's pretty much it.
In the midst of all of this, someone was pointing a camera at you. Is that correct?
Yeah. So that onwards is the documentary, but it came about when I first was diagnosed, and I really love to have a good chat with people. Who knew? And I was terrified.
Yeah, I've really had to open you up today. Yeah, you've been a tough nut to crack.
You're like, oh wow, when's she going to start talking? Turn off the tap. Anyway, I was terrified that I was going to lose my ability to speak. And I started just recording things. I was recording I wasn't sending texts anymore. I was sending my family voice notes, and I started recording messages for my husband and my children, like the happy birthdays and I love you and I'm proud of you, and so that if something happened and I couldn't speak, I could say it to them, and I started journaling because it was a way to get it out of my head, but it was in a way that I would then be able to hear later if I couldn't speak. And then I was having so much support and people checking in and asking how I was doing, and I just didn't know how to sort of reply to everybody. So I started sharing some of that stuff on the socials, and that led to just sort of this. It was almost like a diary that I was sharing with people, and I thought when I'd had my surgery that was going to be it. And then we got the histology results that there was nerve involvement and it was big and we were going to have radiation. And so I headed to Dunedin for that, and I was talking to Ben, so Ben Warbank, who's a good mate of mine and an adventure filmmaker, does a whole heap of nature and outdoor filming, and he just said to me, do you want me to capture this? Do you want me to help you? I know you're recording things. Do you want me to help you capture things? Not for any particular purpose. This is for you to look back on as a diary later, or if it all turns to shit, it's for your family to have some footage of you and what happened.
That's
But
incredible.
best case scenario, we could do something with it afterwards. And so I was like, well, yeah, that would be amazing. And I sent him all of my journals, some of the ones that I hadn't posted, and he recorded a couple of things, came down to Dunedin, and he was looking through those, and I got a message about 3 weeks later. He's like, oh, so how I said we weren't really sure whether we were going to make a documentary. Well, we're making a documentary.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. So regardless, we just had no idea what the outcome was going to be, good, bad, ugly. And thankfully, touch wood, currently it's good outcome. But I don't think that I could have, I don't think that recording and sharing would have been the same if it wasn't Ben doing it. He's such a good mate, and I trust him. I trusted him with my story, and to do whatever he felt was right with it, but that would also be just feel authentic for me. I didn't want it to be anything that it wasn't. So I don't know how that could have come about if it wasn't Ben. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds one of those incredibly fortunate, friendships that's just worked out brilliantly. I mean, what a wonderful gesture, because
just what a gift for my family, for me and my family.
And it's a lot of work too.
Huge.
It's a big thing to turn around and say, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, huge. I mean, just what a gem of a human.
Did you have any say in the production, or did you just basically get it? Here it is, it's done, watch it.
I gave it to him, and then we talked about a few other things. Was there anything else that was needed, and just really reinforcing. This needs to be authentic. It needs to be things that I don't. We're not doing fillers. It's just this is how it is. And I went with it with him, and he created this movie. And then he sent me the trailer. Was the first one. I had got back into traveling and back with work, and I was in China when he sent me the trailer. So I recorded for him me opening it and watching and I cried. So it's okay, good, here we go. And sent that back to him. But I didn't see the finished product until my family saw it with me.
My goodness!
We put it in a theatre and we watched it together. So because again, I trust the man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's what it is. And now it's this documentary, and it was accepted into the Outage Film Festival as finalist this year, and so it's been shown around the country. And but he's essentially gifted it to me and the Cancer Society now for us we're using it for fundraising and education. So
you're having fundraising screenings?
Yeah, we had one in Hamilton, which is where I grew up, and we've had one in Wanaka, and now it's going a little bit more national, that the Cancer Society are going to, I guess, take out rather than me organising these individual places, because I can't be everywhere.
Of course.
And it's going to get rolled out with Marathon in a Month, which is a fundraising initiative that the Cancer Society do, getting people to cover the distance of a marathon in a month. or many for all of you ultra runners out there who are listening today.
I mean, if you insist, okay.
Yeah. If you could do a couple of those in a day, that'd be great. But just encouraging people to move, because actually I feel like my fitness and my sports and just being active leading in was certainly helped me in my journey, but also being active, moving, even just a little bit each day when I was sick and when I was working through my recovery, was so good for both my mental and my physical health. So moving in nature is something that I am very passionate about on many levels, and if we can encourage that, and it creates funds and awareness for about cancer and for the Cancer Society, then that will make me happy.
Oh, those wonderful words. I couldn't agree more. That's amazing. Maybe mention to them there's this little city up north called Auckland, or Tamaki Makaurau, and we'd quite like to watch it. So if you could pull some strings.
Well, encourage. I was thinking that actually. It's like, well, I mean, I don't... Thanks to being in various parts of the world during the New Zealand summer, it has made it a little bit difficult to get to some events, because I was like, maybe we could put it on around. We'll get some trail running people to come in. We'll do some things around events, but I just haven't. I'm never quite sure where I'm going to be.
Not a bad idea, though, have it at Tarawera. Yeah. So, well, that does lead me on to one final question for you. Actually, no, there's two, because I've got the one I have to ask, but the one I do want to know is, what does the future of running look like for you? Or is that too hard a question to answer right now?
The future of running, I would like it to look like getting back into events and being around all of the other like-minded people. For me at the moment, it is just attempting to get out on the trails and push myself. Unfortunately, years of trail running have led to a relatively dodgy ankle, and that is that's putting things in jeopardy at the moment and might require some intervention after the
if only you knew a physio.
Yes, well, see, the thing is, I've done all of the physio work and the rehab, and I've got my balance is great and my strength is great and my core stability is improving, and glutes, I mean, that's another story, but I'm working on them. But I have very few fibres, none of my lateral ligaments in my ankle, so I'm a bit stuffed at the moment.
So maybe another road marathon is in your future.
Oh, boo, shush. I spoke to the surgeon and he was like, well, you can probably run as long as you can tolerate on the flat. And I was like, oh, what? What?
Sorry, I tell you.
I don't know that we can be friends.
Yeah. You're breaking up.
Yeah, exactly. So no, taping, bracing and giving it a go, but just getting out and getting back in amongst it, and hopefully looking to get to some events soon. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good to hear. And of course, the final question is, Helene, so I always thought it was Helene Barron, what is your greatest run ever, and why is it that time that you passed me at the Tarawera 100K? Flew past me.
We had a chat.
Yeah, I think there was a Doppler effect because you're going so fast. Yeah, sure.
Oh, well. Greatest run ever. Can I say two?
You will allow it, yeah.
Well, the one I learnt the most from probably was the South Island Ultra, where I turned up and the field was small, and me and my buddy Rach decided that we would just try and race an ultra for the first time. It was the first 100K I'd ever done. And so we went out a bit hard and the wheels fell off, really fell off. And I just wretched my way through about 30 kilometres of trail. Found her halfway through. She was like, oh, thank God, because she was going through exactly the same. We had a hug and we walked and ran together for a little bit, and then figured out that actually things could settle if you just take it easy, and on we went, and we got first and second in the women. So that was what I learned from that. It's similar to that back-to-back night run, just it's okay, just stop, regroup, keep going. So from a resilience point of view, that was probably the number one run. But my fave was definitely the Tarawera Mile. I mean, that was just next level awesome day. It was, family around. The funny thing about that was it was the year that they'd had the slips, and so the course changed. And so it ended up being some loops. which was just so awesome
Oh,
for
that was
seeing
that year. Yeah, gotcha.
seeing my family on a regular basis as we went round. But it meant all of the hills were at the beginning, and like I live in Wanaka and the hills are my jam. So I had a super fun time just ripping it on the first 15, 20K and then just waiting for all the fast runners to catch and pass me. And so like, there I go. Like, where are you going? Because I'd done the bit that it was just so cool. But it was
had your fun.
I know I'd had my fun, and now I just wait to be caught. It's like, there goes another one, damn it. But it was just, the vibe of that event, all the aid stations, the different groups that come and do the different aid stations. It's such a cool vibe, and I think that I just grinned my way through most of that day. So yeah,
that is wonderful. Can we hope to maybe have another Tarawera 100 mile at some point in the future?
Yeah, 100 miles seems a very long way away. I ran 5K this morning and I was pumped. But no, I would like to. I'll definitely be back at Tarawera, distance TBC.
Yeah, brilliant. Helene Barron, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and thank you for indulging me my forgetfulness this morning.
Oh, that's fine. I hope your run was worth it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Excellent, perfect.
And look, I want to see your documentary. I cannot wait, and also I look forward to seeing you on a start line at some point, ankle permitting.
Ankle permitting, that's right. It's on to the next problem.
Take care.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Cheers.
Dirt Church Radio is presented by me, Matt Raymond.
Me, Ali Pottinger.
And me, Andrew McDowell.
We're on all the podcast platforms, so like, follow, and give us a rating. It really helps.
We're on social media at Dirt Church Radio, email at dirtchurchradio@gmail.com.
Now, don't forget to sign up to our Substack for a weekly newsletter and Aid Station podcast.
And don't forget to write in with your greatest run ever. We'd love to hear them from you, and you can read them on the website too.
That's you, Ali.
Thanks to our supporters, Further Faster, That's It, Squadron, and our Substack subscribers in the DCR Aid Station crew.
Stay tuned for our show in 2 weeks, and we have another great guest lined up.
Mā te wā.